What if we could meet our own shadow side, our own parental rage, our own default pattern of power over with warmth and tenderness and empathy? Hi everyone, let's talk about self-empathy and self-emotion coaching during times of crisis with our young people. I'm going to tell you a story about my morning. I have an almost 9-year-old daughter who is a neurodiverse, beautiful child and also living with cerebral palsy. And so our journey through the last 9 years has been different than a lot of friends and family members that I know raising children. And I know what it's like to live with 45-hour-long meltdowns multiple times a day, every single day. So it was non-negotiable for me as a human being and as a parent to receive the tending that I needed for my own nervous system, understand my own way of processing sensory experiences, understand my own way of integrating emotions and developing an inner coach that supported me to stay anchored and present and committed and most of all, safe for my child. And that's still a work in progress. Some days it flows naturally, no problem. Other days the meltdown comes as a surprise and it's a bit of a whiplash for me, and I need to reach into that SOS pocket inside of myself. And this morning was one of those mornings. And I found myself throughout the experience holding space for my child. I was having inner dialogue that sounded not peaceful and not very safe. I found myself wanting to say things like threats. If you don't stop acting like this, then I'm going to take away something that means so much to you. And that's nope, not that one. I found myself wanting to shame and say, why do you do this? Why do you always have to do this? And nope, not that one. And I work with a lot of clients who don't have that access to choice in the moment. It just comes out of their mouth. And I was even imagining if I were to say those things out loud, how I would feel after they came out. And I could just sense the 1,000,000-pound weight on my chest of shame and remorse and regret. And in that moment, I was flooded with compassion for all of the parents in our world right now who don't have access to an anchor into the moment, who don't have access to safety, who don't have access to the ability to channel all of these different directions happening at once. And so we explode. And so in that moment, it was a huge hug of gratitude for me and all of the support that I've provided for myself over the last decade. And then this call to arms, as in arms hugging for the mothers and fathers and caregivers. And my curiosity for you is, what does your inner dialogue sound like during those moments of crisis with your kids? How do you want it to sound? We have to practice it. If we're going and just assuming we're going to access a voice that says, just stay present. All you need to do right now is be. Just let it flow. This is normal. Let her have her experience. There's no need to judge. There's no need to shut it down. There's no need to shame. This is healthy. This is good. It's okay. You're okay. Everything's going to be okay. Can you practice visualizing that outside of moments of crisis? For me and my daughter, it's getting ready in the morning. The weather is really triggering for her. She doesn't know if she's going to get overheated, if she's going to get cold, and that is just the floodgates open. And so most likely what your child's triggers are, which sensory, especially for our neurodiverse babies, which sensory stimuli is overwhelming for them and puts them into a state of anxiety, meltdown, panic. And how can you visualize yourself staying present? What will you do with your body? I sit down in a chair and I rub my hands. I'll twirl my hair. I'll take deep breaths. What do you want to be doing in your mind? What kind of language do you want to be accessing? And then let's be real. You're going to have emotions arise. You're going to have feelings of desperation, panic, fear, a sensation of being trapped, a sensation of anger, rage even. You might want to explode and make it stop at all costs. So let's anticipate that and practice breathing through it, because we're not wanting to necessarily make those feelings go away. That's not the point. Just like with our children, we're wanting to be able to say, your rage makes sense right now. You wanting to shame and threaten your child makes so much sense right now. That's what you were modeled. That's what you were taught. Of course, that's your default. What if we could meet our own shadow side, our own parental rage, our own default pattern of power over with warmth and tenderness and empathy? Because when we can do that, then we can access the skills and tools like nonviolent communication in that moment, or no communication in that moment, and the ability to just be in this inner safety so your child can borrow your calm and safety. So my invitation for you going into your week is pay attention to the patterns that arise in your family. Spend a minute or two going into a state of feeling, meditation, visualization, or just think about it, whatever works for you, mindfulness, and ask yourself, what does my body need in that moment? What does my mind need in that moment? And what does my heart need in that moment? And practice it. That way, when you get on the mat in your parenting, you're gonna have muscle memory. It's off the mat that we do the heavy lifting. It's in the moment that we just lift our hands and hope for the best. And I hope this is supportive for you. I am thinking of all of you today, wherever you are, whenever you're watching this, and giving you a great big hug. Parenting in this way is tough work, and it is worth it. And I'll see you all again soon.